Welcome to the Miami Condo Minute. I'm Peter Zalewski. I'm a condo consultant. I'm also the founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club. Check out the website, miamicondo.club. If you give me a minute, I'll give you some valuable information about the South Florida condo market. What are we talking about today? We're talking about the possibility that a $1 billion office tower on Brickell Bay Drive in greater downtown Miami may have to delay its groundbreaking, which is scheduled to occur in the third quarter of 2025, or possibly not go forward anytime soon. Why is an office tower important to the Miami Condo Minute? Well, several reasons. One reason, a lot of people have been speculating in and around the site of this office tower, thinking that there was going to be a bump in prices across the board. And if you know Miami, let me tell you where it is. It's effectively right where Coral Way dumps into Brickell Bay Drive, or right at the bay. Coral Way is the road which will take you from Brickell Avenue all the way west to Coral Gables. So if this tower doesn't get built, you got potential tax revenue from a 54-story tower with 1.7 million square feet of space, including 212 hotel rooms, that will not be collected anytime soon by the city, the county, and the school board. B, you have all these investors that were trying to front-run the market, so they started buying up units in and around the area in anticipation of being able to either resell the units to downstream investors and or rent the units to people who might actually be working in this brand new office tower. And then finally, C, this would be a black eye on Miami's hopes of surpassing and even replacing New York City as the financial capital of the United States. And if that happens, you can kiss away those high-paying Wall Street jobs in finance, investment banking, and all of the above. Yes, you heard me right. Miami replacing New York City as the financial capital of the United States. That was a prediction that was made a few years back by Wall Street insider and newly arrived transplant Ken Griffin of Citadel, when he bought the dirt and he proclaimed that Miami would surpass and replace New York City. Ken Griffin, by the way, he's the one building the office tower for his Citadel hedge fund. They would occupy the top floors of this 54-story building. Now, where is this talk about the future of this potential office building actually coming from? Coming from an interview on CNBC with Ken Griffin, the Miami billionaire, who's supposed to have $42 billion in net worth, supposed to be the 34th richest person in the world and the 22nd richest person in the United States, far surpassing Miami condo developer George Perez of the Relanic Group, which is the largest vertical condo developer in the state of Florida. Well, Mr. Griffin did an interview with CNBC, and during that interview, he talked about how he was worried about the U.S. economy going into a recession. He also talked about the possibility of stagflation. He calls it a dirty word. Why? Because prices go up and so does unemployment. People basically have those jobs and everything costs more. What did he blame it on? He blamed it on the tariffs that came as a result of Liberation Day, April the 2nd, when President Donald Trump imposed tariffs across the board on all countries of the world. Let's listen to this clip from CNBC with Ken Griffin of Citadel.
So the topic du jour is the Federal Reserve. Fed Chair Jay Powell came out today. I don't think he leaned one way or another, but did warn that the tariffs present risks to higher inflation and also higher unemployment. What should the Fed be doing now?
Well, actually, let's think about what he just said. Presents risks to higher inflation and higher unemployment. The word that evokes is stagflation.
That's a dirty word.
It's a dirty word. And I give him credit for not using that word because it's such a dangerous word. But Jay Powell is doing his best to keep all of his options open to make sure we can try to maintain maximum employment in the United States while mitigating the risk of an acceleration in inflation.
Do you see a risk of stagflation? Is that where we're headed?
Well, there's a risk of it because we are...
A high risk of it?
I'd say we have a modest risk of stagflation. And the question will be, if we implement tariffs at the rates that have been proposed, that will certainly be an inflationary shock. Will that shock persist as we undergo deglobalization and move supply chains back towards the United States? That's the real question that none of us know the